So again, we can sit cross-legged, we can sit on our knees, we can sit with our legs out in front, just however feels good. And as we are going to sit here probably about 5 or more minutes, we're going to do a little bit of pranayama. So we want to get really nice and comfortable and like it's snowing quite a lot here. I'm going to get nice and cozy. So finding your comfortable seated position. And again, we're just going to take a few moments just to arrive, bring our awareness inwards, so that pratyahara, that's shifting our awareness inwards, trying to shut out all that distraction, so that external stimulus. So again, just finding your posture and however feels comfortable to sit for a period of time. And then just starting to shift that awareness inwards. So again, just closing the eyes if that feels okay. And then just bringing the awareness again to how we're sitting. So again, do we need to roll the shoulder blades back and down? Lift up a little bit through the sternum, back of the neck is long, chin is slightly tucked in, eyes are lightly closed. And then we just slowly shift that awareness to our breath. So we'll just start with that watching the inhalation and the exhalation, or just that sitting with the breath. And then we can slowly start to come into that yogic breath, or the 3-part breath. So again, starting to breathe into the belly or the diaphragm. Up into the chest, up into the collarbone. So again, we're filling the whole of the lungs. And then again, breathing out of the diaphragm or the belly, out of the chest and out of the collarbones. And again, breathing in for that count of 6. Again, 2 into the belly, 2 into the chest, 2 into the upper chest. And then as we exhale, just that longer exhalation. And then we're going to start to come into our alternate nostril breathing now. So whenever you're ready, we're just going to use kind of our ring finger and our thumb to block off the nostrils. And we're going to start doing the kind of the nadis with the alternate nostril breathing. So again, when we breathe in, we're going to do 5 rounds of breathing in through the right eye and the right nostril, and out through the left eye and the left nostril. So again, we're going to do 5 rounds. So in through the right eye, right nostril, and again out through the left eye, left nostril. And then we're going to breathe in through the right ear and the right nostril and out through the left ear and the left nostril. So we'll do 5 rounds. And then we're going to breathe in right nostril, tip of the tongue to the base of the throat. And then we're going to breathe out left nostril, base of the throat to the tip of the tongue. 5 rounds. And then after 5 rounds of that, we're just going to drop both hands down. And we're going to breathe in through the right nostril, so the subtle alternate nostril breathing. And we're going to breathe out through the right hand and the right leg. We'll do this 5 rounds, and breathing in through the right nostril. And then as we breathe out through the right side of the body, so through the right arm and the right leg. And then we're going to do 5 rounds of breathing in through the left nostril, subtle Nadi Sadhana, and then out through the left side, so going out through the left arm and the left leg. And then finally, we're going to come into that Varuna Nadi. So again, we're going to breathe in from the skin to the heart. And we're going to breathe out from the heart to the skin. And then we're going to let go of that Varuna Nadi. We're just going to sit here in this little quiet space just for a few breaths. And then we're just going to shift our awareness back to the here and now. A couple of deep breaths. Then we can clasp the hands together when we're ready. Gently rubbing those eyes, creating a little bit of heat. We can bring those hands up to the eyes, just gently blinking into that warmth and darkness of the hands. We bring the fingertips onto the eyelids, gently massaging out the eyelids, onto the temples, and down the sides of the jaw to the chin. And then we're going to slowly move around now, and we're just going to come on to our backs to begin with. So again, just coming down into any comfortable reclining position here on your back. So again, you can just relax down here for a few moments. And again, just having your pillows and cushions to hand, just so we can use them, or your bolsters when you need them. So just taking those few moments here just to come down and just getting comfortable here for a few breaths. And again, we can just start to shift that awareness to the body. So again, just becoming aware of the body. Where are the parts that feel a little bit stiff and tense there? And then again, just that starting to shift inwards. So again, can we just kind of allow the parts of the body that touch the floor? Can we just soften into those areas? Just let go into those areas. Just allow everything to become nice and heavy. And then again, can we just breathe into the body? So again, from the top of the head, right down into the fingers, the toes, and just focusing into any little areas of tension, tightness, discomfort. And as we breathe out, we just try and allow those areas just to soften, relax, release a little bit. Again, just breathe in from the top of the head, right down into the fingers, the toes. And again, as we exhale, we just try and allow the weight of the body to just sink down into the floor. Just let everything soften. And then we're just going to slowly now start to bring that little bit of gentle movement into the body. So again, we can just kind of wiggle the fingers, the toes a little. We can take the head from side to side. When we're ready to bring a little bit more movement into the body, you can just do a gentle overarm stretch. And then again, we can just relax and soften. And we're going to start working a little bit into the sides of the body today. And we're going to start with a few little twists. So we're just going to start by bringing our feet onto the floor. Just have our feet and knees together. And then we're just going to gently relax our arms out to shoulder level. So we're just going to start with that little bit of window wipering of the legs here. So again, that little side to side. And then the next time we kind of drop our legs over towards our right side. We're just going to relax here for a few breaths. So again, we're just going to kind of spend a few moments just getting comfortable. So again, just allowing the legs to sink down towards the floor, make any little adjustments, propping up as much as we need. And then we're just going to become aware of the back of the hands, back of the shoulders, back of the sternum, pressing down into the floor. I'm just going to sink down into these parts. And then we're going to slowly bring our legs back to center. And then we're going to come into that little universal twist. So we're going to start to straighten that right leg. We're going to keep the kind of the left foot on the floor. We're going to budge the hips a couple of inches over towards the left side. We're going to bring that right hand over towards the left knee, left thigh. And then again, we're just going to gently on an exhalation roll over towards that right side. And again, this is where we just play around a little bit with that kind of left leg. And again, play around a little bit with the left arm. Just find a little sweet spot that works for us. And then again, just that sinking into it. So again, making any little adjustments. And then again, can you just start to, again, just relax into it. Again, just become aware of the parts of the body that press into the floor. And just softening down into those parts. And then we can just slowly find our way back up. And then we just take that couple of moments here again before we swap sides. So again, how does that kind of left side feel compared to that right? We do all that stretching through the left side. Feeling a little bit different. And then whenever you're ready, we can just start to do all that on our opposite side. So again, we just bring the feet and the knees together. We can start with that gentle little window wipering of the legs. And then again, the next time we drop our legs over towards that left side now. We just again relax here for a few breaths. We make any little adjustments. And then again, we play around a little bit. And then we just again allow the weight of the body to just sink down. So again, wherever it touches the floor, we just soften into those parts. And then we can slowly come back up to center. And then again, we can just slowly stretch that left leg out, keep that right foot on the floor, budge the hips a couple of inches over towards the right side. Again, bring the left hand over. And then again, the next time we roll over towards that left side, we play around with the position of the right leg. And then we play around a little bit with that right arm. And then again, we just soften here into it. And then we can slowly find our way back up onto our backs. And then again, we can just take a few moments here. And again, just relax into any kind of comfortable restorative position. And then again, just take those few kind of breaths here, sinking inwards. And how does that body feel after you've held the poses for a little bit? And then again, we can just maybe hug those knees up into the chest. Just rocking out that lower back here for a couple more moments. Again, just circling, taking those knees in one direction. And then again in the opposite direction. And then the next couple of ones, we're going to do some work with a band. I realise I've left my band on the other side of the room, so I'm just going to go and get it. So what we're going to do here is we'll do a little bit of hamstring stretching. So we're going to start again by just having our right foot on the floor, and we're just going to hug our left knee in here for a couple of breaths. And then again, we're going to grab our band, we're going to bring it around the sole of that left foot, and we're just going to stretch our left leg up towards the ceiling. So we're just going to gently kind of stretch out those hamstrings a little bit here. So again, we can just start to work with the breath a little bit if we want to. Then taking that left leg away, bringing the left leg back in. And we release the stretch, and then slightly deepen the stretch. And again, as always, we want to feel it in that kind of belly of the muscles, in the middle of the back of the thigh. Not where it connects behind the knee or deep in the bum. And then the next time we bring that left leg in, we're just going to bring it into wherever we get a good stretch. And then we're just going to hang out here for a few breaths. Okay, we can shift that breath and the awareness into where we feel any tightness, any pulling. Just try and focus into those areas. And again, as we exhale, allow those areas just to soften, release a little. And then we can also straighten that right leg here and just see how that stretch feels. And again, just try and soften into it for a few breaths. And then we're just going to stretch a little bit more into the side of the leg. So we're just going to gently bring that band a couple of times around that right hand. We can just relax our left arm out to shoulder level or just out to the left side. And then we're just going to bring that left leg just a couple of inches across the midline of the body to begin with. So again, most of the lower back stays connected to the floor. And then again, we can just keep the foot soft, or we can press up through the heel and pull the toes towards us. Again, we might feel it a little bit more in the calf. And again, we can just relax here for a few breaths. And then we can bring that leg a little bit further over if that feels okay. So again, rolling a little bit more towards that right side. And then we can slowly come back up to center. We can start to bring that left knee back in, take that band off out for a moment. We can again just squeeze that left thigh in towards the belly for a few breaths. And then we can gently stretch that left leg back out. And again, we can just take a few moments here. And again, just relax and just see how that left side feels compared to the right. And then we can just slowly do all that on our opposite side now. So again, we can just bring both feet back up onto the floor. We can again start to just bring that right thigh up into the chest and just hang out here for a few breaths. And then again, we can just grab hold of that band, bring it around the sole of that right leg. And again, we can stretch that right leg up towards the ceiling. So again, we can just come into that little bit of hamstring stretching on the right side. So again, having that right knee as bent as we need it to be, being in the middle of the belly, or what we call the belly of the muscles, the middle of the thigh. And then again, just kind of not behind the knee. And again, just take a few moments here. Again, you can move a little bit with the breath, or again, you can just come to that little spot and just hang out there and just try and relax into it. And then we can slowly straighten that opposite leg, straighten that left leg, and just see how that changes the stretch. Again, just try and relax into it. Focus that breath into any areas that feel a little bit tight, a little bit tense. And then we can just slowly, now just bring that left hand onto the band, take that right arm out to shoulder level. Just bring that right leg just a couple of inches across the midline of the body. Again, just press up through the heel if it feels okay, if it feels too intense. Just keep the foot soft, but if you want to, bring it a little bit more into the calf. You can just hang out here for a few breaths. And then we can again bring that leg either a little bit further over or a lot further over. And then again, just relaxing into it for a few breaths. And then we can bring that leg back to center. We can slowly bring that right knee into the chest. We can take that band off for a moment. Just squeeze that right knee in here for a few breaths. And then we can again just take a few moments here, just coming into a little kind of restorative position, just relaxing here and just seeing how the body feels. And then we can slowly bring our knees back up to our chest. We can have a little rock out here below our backs again, just circling in one direction. And then again in the opposite direction. And then we're just going to gently rock over to the side and just find our way up onto our fronts actually. So we're going to swing over and we're going to come into our little child stretch here. And again, we're just going to take a few moments here just to get comfortable. So again, we can just gently take our knees out to the side and just stretch those arms forwards. Again, just gently drop the head in if that feels okay. Maybe tuck the chin in a little bit so get that stretch across the back of the neck. Press into those fingertips. And then we can just gently walk our arms over towards one side. So we get a little bit more of a side stretch here. And then we go to that opposite side. And then we can just slowly come up here onto all fours. So now we're going to come into that little side stretch here more in the upper body. So again, this is that one where we're going to gently drop that kind of right elbow so it's kind of on the floor underneath kind of the front of the right shoulder. And again, the right hand is underneath the front of the left. Knees are kind of, hips and knees are kind of stacked. We gently relax our forehead down onto that right forearm or onto the floor above or below. And then we just walk our left fingertips as far forward as we can. And again, we just soften here into this kind of little bit of a back bend actually. We're kind of stretching through the front of the body. So again, we just allow the chest to sink in. And then pressing into those left fingertips. Again, how does it feel to lower your left forearm a little bit more towards the floor? And then turn the head to the right. And then finally, just keep pressing into those left fingertips. Gently lift that left forearm a little bit back off the floor. This time, pull back with the bum and the hips. Or again, have that slight little sway from side to side. And then we can slowly swap sides now. So again, we can come back up here onto all fours. We can again gently drop that left elbow onto the floor underneath the left shoulder, left hand is underneath the front of the right. Taking that right arm up towards the top of the mat, and then again relaxing that forehead down onto that left forearm. Again, allowing the chest to sink in and pressing into those right fingertips and just kind of sinking down a little bit. And get a little bit of a back bend too. And then again, pressing into those fingertips, lowering that right forearm a little bit more towards the floor, maybe turning the head to the left, if that feels okay. And then finally, just pressing into those right fingertips, lifting that forearm back off the floor a little bit. But this time again, pulling back with the bum of the hips, or again, having that little sway from side to side. And then we can just slowly pull back now into any little child resting position. Just relax here for a few breaths. And then we're just going to slowly come up and seated again. So now we're going to shift our awareness again a little bit into the glutes and kind of mid and lower part of the body. So we're going to start with our little, or my favourite pose, I think, of all times at the moment, is deer pose. So again, in that one where we have our left leg in front and our right leg is behind, so we're in that kind of 90-90 position here. And again, we're just going to kind of really get into this pose and just hang out there for a few breaths. So again, you want to get nice and comfortable to use whatever props you need. So again, all we're going to start to do is we're just going to fold forwards. And we're going to come to whatever point feels comfortable here. So again, we might fold more towards front knee, between the legs, towards the back knee. We might be on the hands, we might be on the elbows, we might have the forehead down on the floor, we might be supported on the bolster. Just whatever feels good here. And again, just getting comfortable because we are going to hang out here for a little bit of time.
And then we're going to slowly come back up. Oh. And then we're just going to come into another little side stretch from here. So again, you might want to use your black blanket or your rolled up mat. So we're going to do that one where we're going to stretch out our right leg and we're going to come into a shoelace pose. So we're going to bring our left leg over. So we might have our left knee stacked on top of our right. We might have that left leg just a little bit wider out to the side. So it might be tight shoelace or a loose shoelace. And then all we're going to start to do here is, again, we're just going to slowly fold forward. And again, we're just going to come to whatever point something stops us. So again, whether it's that tightness, whether it's tension. So again, and just once you get to that point where you just feel like, okay, that's enough for me, we're just going to hang out here for a few breaths.
And then we're going to slowly come up. And then we're just again going to come into a little bit of a rebound here. So again, we can just slowly come back down onto our backs. And we'll just take those few moments here just to relax in. So again, just shifting our awareness. Again, we've stretched a lot through one side of the body. So again, how does it feel? So we've stretched a lot through the glutes and the hips on the left side, but the hamstring on the right side. So again, just taking those few moments here, just to again to sink inwards. Again, how does that body feel? And then we can again slowly bring our knees up into our chest. A little rock out of the lower back. And then again, we're just going to gently roll to the side and just find our way back up into seated. So now we're going to do all that on the opposite side now. So again, we're just going to bring our right leg in front. We're going to come into that D pose to begin with. Left leg is behind, so get those legs in that 90-90 position. And then again, whenever you're ready, again, you might be in a tight one, a loose one, depending on how your hips are feeling. You might need to pad out the knees a little bit or a lot. And then again, whenever you're ready, we're just going to slowly start to fold. And again, you might fold towards front knee, between the legs, towards the back knee. You might come part way onto the hands, you might come down onto the elbows, you might come down onto a block or a bolster, you might drop the head, you might have the head supported on the hands, just whatever feels good here. And again, not coming to a point where it's really intense, because we are going to hang out here for a few breaths. Again, you do want to be able to kind of soften into it as much as possible. And again, just breathing into it. And then we can slowly come back up. And then again, we're going to come into that second pause here. So again, this is where we're going to straighten out our left leg, and we're going to bring our right leg over. So again, we're going to come out into a tight shoelace or a loose shoelace. So again, maybe more like figure of four if it's a loose shoelace. And again, you can, if you want to, just roll up the back of the mat, or again, if you've got a blanket or a half block to perch on, just again to start that movement, start that tilt of the pelvis. And then again, just slowly fold into whatever point feels comfortable here. So you might be the hamstrings that stop you, you might feel that tension in the hamstrings, you might feel it in the calf, you might feel it around the hip, the lower back. So again, just come to that point and then just soften into it. And again, just that focusing inwards. So again, that pratyahara, can you just breathe into wherever you feel the pause, wherever you feel the stretch. And again, as you exhale, just try and allow those areas just to soften, relax, release a little. And you can slowly come back up. We can again just come back into, oh, you come back, Francis. We can come back into our little rebound here. So again, we can just come down onto our backs. And again, just take a few moments here. So we're going to stretch a lot around that hip and that glute on that right side. But again, we've done the hamstring on the left side. So again, how does the body feel? Does anywhere feel that little bit of fragility that we sometimes get when we've held the poses for a while? Can we just focus into those areas and just kind of allow everything just to soften and just let go? And then we can again slowly bring our knees up onto our chest. Have that little rock out of the lower back, so get that little bit of circling, those knees in one direction, and then again in the opposite direction. And then again, we're just going to gently roll to the side and just find our way back up. So now we're going to come into butterfly pose, and then we're going to come into another asymmetrical pose. So again, we're just going to, so for butterfly pose or Baddha Konasana, again, you might want to roll the edge of the mat up, you might want to perch on a blanket or a block. So again, it's just that one where we're just going to kind of bring the soles of the feet together, the knees a little bit flopped down to the side. And again, we can just have that little bit of flutter, the legs to begin with. And then again, whenever you're ready, you're just going to slowly start to kind of sink inwards to your Baddha Konasana or your butterfly pose. So again, just come into whatever point feels good here. So again, you might just kind of have your elbows resting on your upper legs, and just a little bit of a tilt. You might fold a little bit forward, you might fold a lot in, you might bring your head onto a bolster and a block, or so again, if you're using props, you can do the bolster the block one and just gently relax down, or again you could just bring the head down and just relax here. So again, whichever one feels good for you. And then we can just slowly come back up. And then we're just going to finish off now with a little forward fold. So again, what we're going to do is you might want to use your props. So we're going to again do the little asymmetrical, so one leg at a time. So we're going to start by having one leg tucked in and one leg stretched out. So whichever side you prefer. So again, and then all we're going to do here is again, we're going to slowly, I always do a little bit of hip flossing, so a little bit of rotation, just to kind of loosen up everything. And then again, all you're going to start to do is just again kind of fold forward. So again, just come to whatever point feels good. So again, up on the hands, on the elbows, partly onto a block, onto a bolster. And then again, we're just going to again really kind of soften into it here. So again, quite intense stretches. So again, just trying to relax down into it. And then we can slowly come back up. And then again, we can just swap sides now. So again, we take the opposite leg out. And again, you might just do a little bit of hip flossing, a little bit of rotation. And then again, whenever you're ready, just slowly, again, fold it. And again, just folding down to whatever position feels comfortable here. And again, just settle into it. Again, as you hang out here for a little bit longer, you probably just kind of slightly shift posture. And again, just breathing into where you feel any tightness, tension, any pulling. And then we can slowly come back. And then we're going to come into our last rebound in our Shavasana now. So again, you just can get as comfortable as you want. So again, just grabbing any blankets, any cushions. And again, just getting nice and comfortable on your backs, on the floor. You can stay seated for this one. And again, just coming back down onto our backs, coming into any comfortable reclining or any comfortable restorative position here. And again, just taking those few moments, again, just shift that awareness inwards. Again, how does that body feel? Again, just taking that moment to see. So again, is there any sense of kind of that fragility we have after we've held the poses for a while? We just focus into those parts, just kind of allow them to kind of relax. And then again, we're just going to shift that awareness inwards. Again, we're just going to become aware of the body. Again, parts of the body that press down into the floor. Just going to soften into those areas. Just kind of allow those areas just to relax and release. And then we just go into, again, start to bring that breath and the awareness into the body. So again, just breathing the top of the head right down into the fingers, the toes. And just focusing into any little areas of tension, tightness, discomfort in the body. And again, as we breathe out, just trying to allow those areas just to relax and release and soften. And again, just breathe in from the top of the head, right down into the fingers, the toes. And again, as we exhale, just allow the weight of the body to just sink down into the floor. Just let everything relax, release, soften. And again, just allow the arms to become nice and heavy. And the weight of the arms sink down into the floor. Allow those legs to become nice and heavy. Just allow the weight of the legs to sink down into the floor. Just allow kind of the upper body and torso just to sink down into the back of the body, into the floor. And just allow the head to relax, the neck to soften, just the weight of the head just to sink down into the floor. And again, just breathe from the top of the head right down into the fingers, the toes. And again, as we exhale, we just allow the weight of the body to just sink down and just let everything relax, release, and soften. And then again, just breathe in from the top of the head, down into the fingers, the toes. And again, as we exhale, just allow everything to soften, shift down, and just let go. And we can come into that Varuna Nadi again, so that awareness, just breathing from the skin to the heart, and from the heart to the skin. Again, as we breathe in, breathe from the skin down into the heart, and center ourselves, and we breathe out from the heart to the skin. So we're just going to bring our awareness back to the body. Floor underneath us, the air on the skin. And start to breathe a little deeper. And start to bring a little bit of gentle movement. Maybe wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, taking the head from side to side. And when we're ready to bring a little bit more movement into the body, we can do that gentle overarm stretch. And again, if we want to, we can bring the hands together, gently rub the hands together, create a little bit of heat. We can bring the hands up to the eyes, again, gently blink into that warmth and darkness of the hands. Bring the fingertips onto the eyelids, gently massage now the eyelids onto the temples and down the sides of the jaw to the chin. And then we can just hook those knees up into the chest when we're ready. Just rocking out that lower back for a couple of moments. And then again, we can circle the knees a little bit. And then gently roll to the side and just finding our way up into seated to finish. And again, just taking a couple of moments here, just seeing how you feel after your practice. Just getting ready for the rest of your day. So, thank you very much.